What's going on, guys? Happy morning. SmartHelping.com here with a follow-up to one of my most popular pieces of Google Sheet logic, and that is something where you have you're filling out a form and you have data coming in here, and then you want to sort that and filter it. You might use a query function or whatever in order to be able to have formulas next to it without um, losing. Like if you put the formula right next to the data that's coming in from the form, you put formulas in here, um, it'll go down a row. It'll mess up like where the data is coming in. It'll mess up the formula by making a space. It's just not good. So generally, the workaround is you have the database filling in from the form as data comes in, and then you have a second tab that references the data here, and I just put in brackets that just basically going to show me everything, and then I've got formulas that describe that here, that run where, and this is where you can't do on the form is put formulas. I made these all arrays, but what the other thing that everybody runs into when they're trying to work with forms is they want to have some of the form data populated by a filter, and then they want to be able to enter, and it could be because certain access, you don't want certain people seeing certain things, or you want to just add data here, like, okay, let me make a copy of this real quick so I can edit. So you got your data in here, you've got some formulas, and then on here you want to put in like some other attributes. Well, what happens if you're sorting this data that's coming in alphabetically and this changes? Now what happens to your hard-coded data next to the row? Because now the data in this row might be different than what it was when you put information in here. So the answer is there's no easy way to fix it. What I've told people to do is make sure that you don't have any alphabetical filters and you never change the order of your form response data. And as long as the next piece of data in your form from the forms comes into the next row, you will always be in order and you won't get messed up. But it's tricky because if for whatever reason, let's say you delete one row here, well, now every piece of information below that row that's being targeted with your filter formulas and etc. is going to be off. And so all this metadata you've entered here for all different rows is going to be different. There's no easy solution here. None whatsoever. You just have to try to make sure only certain people can edit. Make sure that the data in your database, um, when it's being referenced by your reference formulas, make sure it's not sorting anything. It's just pulling it in as it comes in. Now you can filter. You can say, okay, on this tab I want to filter. I want to see all the data that says first. On another tab I want to see all the data that says second. On a third tab I want to see all the data that says 10th, and that's fine. And as long as when a new piece of data comes in that meets that criteria, it comes in through your formulas below, then your what you're entering next to each row should be fine, and it should be lined up. But there's not an easy solution that I found to fix this, and it's just, well, if you're dynamically referencing data over here and possibly manipulating it, and you're hard coding in here, unless you're going to copy the row and paste it somewhere else, which people use formulas to avoid having to do all of that, then there's no real workaround because half if some of the rows are being manually, some of the rows are a formula, there's no way to make sure if the data changes from your formulas, these rows change with it. because they're hard coded. There's no answer here that's nice and easy. So I know that's not what you want to hear, but it's what you have to think about if you're going to do this. And again, the only workaround is to make sure the order never changes of the data coming in through the formulas. Now here in my example that I did in this sheet for you guys, um, and this was a free one. I think you can go download it at what I put in Google Sheets, how to keep formula while adding new lines to database. So a lot of people have commented on this and found it useful, which is great. Um, but if you want to mess with this, this just uses brackets, so this will always keep the same order of whatever comes into the form response. But some people will go and they've got this data. Um, now one, let me backtrack. One way you could Another workaround to this is you could have, basically bracket bringing in essentially a copy of what's in here in the exact order that's entered and exists here. Now, it's still important that the data that's entered on the form response, you can't remove rows here. You cannot ever delete a row with data in, or else it's going to mess everything up. But assuming that's okay to do and it's not a problem, then you have your brackets in here bringing in the data, all of the data. You've got formulas that do some possibly analysis of that or whatever. Then what you can do is, and this is if you wanted to say sort something alphabetically. So you have the data in here, you put your hard-coded attributes in here, and then let's say you go to a third tab, and in this third tab, you can then say, okay, I want to pull everything that says second or third, and I want to sort that alphabetically. That's fine. And now you will get a summary sheet that has your alphabetical sort and it has all the extra data you've added here, like all the hard-coded data will then populate here. That's another workaround. You just need another tab to do it. Um, and that allows you to not mess up the order, and then you've basically stuck the hard-coded data with the data reference from the form response, and then you just take it a third step and reference that entire range when you want to report on it. And that's where you then you don't have to worry about, because it's a formula. As long as this data reference from your form response doesn't change order, which is you just use your brackets here, then the data you're entering hard coded here should be always lined up with the data here, and this data should never change order. It should just be in the order that is shown on your form responses. And as long as that never changes, there's no issue. All right, that's all I got for you this morning. But I know, like, I've dealt with this problem a lot with a lot of different clients, and I've got some comments about it on this video, so I just thought that might help. Some housekeeping things I just wanted everyone to know. smarthelping.com. I added a live chat if you want to try and get a hold of me quickly or have a question or a comment here. This is a new feature I've added, so feel free to come in here and say what's up. All right, I'll see you on the next one.